Imagine a world without choices. Imagine you can't make your own decision. That wouldn't be a world for me. That wouldn't be a world for you. UIC.
Tell them we're gonna be stronger. Together we can make it right. Our purpose is a better Jamaica for you and I. Gonna be stronger together. Time we all just unify. Our purpose is a better Jamaica for you and I.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the UIC Liberty TV. Glad to have you guys on. My name is Douglas Harper, and we'll be walking you through tonight some issues that are happening in the tourism sector, or the tourism sector. And so we'll be dealing with that tonight. Sylvester Lawrence, big up yourself, cool guy, welcome. Welcome, Valerie Grant. Good evening to you. And yes, so this evening, we're going to be dealing with our hotel workers, those in the tourism sector. A lot of them are frustrated, pretty much being treated like slaves, really. And they've unfortunately they've had to be undergoing this for years, you know. So it's I think it's time that we just as a country, you know, everyone in Jamaica, I think it's time for us to really coalesce around, you know, this idea of freedom, this idea of liberty, this idea of personal responsibility, and standing up for our rights. And so, you know, tonight we're going to look at some things that are happening in the tourism sector. All right, so before I start, I want to remind you guys to please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Slave wage is definitely Kavan. Is it Kavan? Yes, Kavan Resilience Harris. Slave wages, definitely. Slave wages all around, it seems, from security guards to hotel workers to our nurses to our teachers to our policemen or policewomen. You know, it's really sad. And there's so much happening in Jamaica, and we really aren't coming together, you know, locking arms and saying, you know, enough is enough. We need to stand up for our rights. We need to stand up, you know, against, you know, what's happening. Someone says here, Jamaica must vote. Oh, that's Kavan. Jamaica must vote for a change. Absolutely, 100%. All right, so I'm going to get into the program tonight. And as I said, we're talking about the hotel industry. And a little known fact, or the first hotel was built in Jamaica in the 1800s. And since then, tourism, of course, has been prospering in Jamaica because of how beautiful the island is and our people, you know, our wonderful people that we have that are open and always smiling, well, for the most part. And our culture, you know, our culture is rich and strong, and people are, you know, it's a magnet for people. People are pulled to Jamaica because of these things. And so, you know, tourism has been a big industry, a big sector for Jamaica. So in the early 1920s, tourist arrivals did not exceed a few thousand, right? But that has grown since then. You know, in 2021, Jamaica welcomed more than 1.5 million visitor arrivals. That was actually down from 2019, which was 4.3 million visitor arrivals for the year. And of course, we understand, you know, we've gone through the pandemic, and so during the pandemic, of course, a lot of the hotels closed down and had to furlough their workers. Some workers were actually laid off. And so, you know, building back up now in 2021, we're up to 1.5 million visitors. Or on island, or the visitors on island spend in 2019, listen to this, the visitors on island spend totaled over 3.6 billion US dollars in 2019. So we had 4.3 million visitors in 2019, and they spent 3.6 billion US dollars. Now imagine if that money was spread across the island, you know, instead of it being targeted to just a few who, you know, at the end of the day, the money isn't really kept here in Jamaica. It is now exported, you know, to other countries. Imagine if that 3.6 billion US was spread throughout the country, you know, in every little community, in every little corner shop, you know, every little jerkman, you know, got piece of that, you know, country would be so much better. So in 2021, the sector accounted for 18.6% of Jamaica's GDP, according to Statista.com. 18.6% of GDP, right? So tourism is also a main source of employment in Jamaica, directly employing over 100,000 people. That's a lot of people, you know, 100,000 people. And we had 4.3 million visitors in 2019. That's a lot. So we're seeing that the history of tourism has really been something that the country has been relying on for foreign exchange. And unfortunately, it's been like the only thing we've been relying on. You know, we haven't really focused on building out our education sector. We haven't really focused on building out our health sector. We haven't focused on building a bottom-up or approaching our economy from a bottom-up approach, and, you know, helping small businesses to start and enabling them to hire people. And so we're having a grassroots bottom-up approach to our economy. We've just been focused on who wants to come and build a hotel, you know, which company or country wants to come and build a hotel here, we're open. Jamaica is for sale, really. So this is what we have with our tourism sector. And for years, the tourism sector has done really well, you know. But again, those figures aren't translated, or the numbers, the finances, the numbers in terms of the finances don't reach the average person here in Jamaica. And a comment here, too many of the people are indifferent, hence their lack of activism. Too much people have the messianic cult syndrome, and the slave religion they follow is part of the problem. I agree with you, Agra Valley. We've gotten to a place now where Jamaicans are not as, I think that we've lost our fire somewhat. And part of that is based on the colonial master history that we've had. You know, we've become so, as you say, indifferent, and really we've lost our edge. We're no longer as, you know, forthright as we used to be. I'm truly sorry to hear, or I'm truly sorry to say, but Jamaicans do not know the meaning of unity. It is every man for himself. That's true. If they can accept money to vote for a government who do not mean them any good, hey. And that's unfortunately the reality that we have. And, you know, let me bring in Mr. Patterson to help expound on this, because, you know, it's really, when you think about what's happening in Jamaica as it relates to this whole buying votes thing, it's, you know, it's something that unfortunately it's a culture, but it's now almost what people are expecting. You know, I saw recently, a YouTuber is asking, you know, they're seeing the JLP out in their numbers now because, you know, local government elections are coming up. They're seeing the PNP also out in their numbers, and they're saying, you know, where's the UIC? And the question, yes, where's the UIC? But there's a deeper question to that. Why aren't you seeing the UIC? You know, it's not that the UIC just doesn't want to go out there, but you know, we have a lot of obstacles in our way. But I'd love to hear Mr. Patterson's view on what Dee was saying in terms of, was it Dee? Yes, in terms of accepting money to vote for a government, and how, you know, these two political parties are able to literally buy votes because of their funding, because they're being funded, you know, by special interest groups, by the the oligarchs. Um, explain that more, Mr. Hudson, how we've done
Sure, no problem. Good evening, good night, good morning, depending on where you are, everyone. Your question is a very important one, Mr. Harper. Basically, many Jamaicans are asking, those who know about us are asking, where's the UIC? And they're asking that question in a vacuum, as if the UIC exists just by magic. I think somebody mentions the messianic figure or the Messiah syndrome. The UIC is an organization like any other organization. It requires some basic things for it to function effectively. One of them is human resource, and another one is financial resource. And for the most part, you need financial resource to buy human resources, because not everybody is able to volunteer, you know, a lot of their time to do this kind of work. So a political party, in the current system of democracy that we have, the current fake democracy that we have, you need money in order to mobilize, in order to pay for stuff. So the smart, rich people know this, right? And that is why they make sure that they own and control the two political parties. So when either of those two parties sound the trumpet and say, come on out, my people, come on out to show your strength in numbers, that you're ready for an election, it's very easy. Because they will have no problem. They have people, they have offices in all of these constituencies, offices where rent is being paid, staff are in those offices. You know, they have money to buy shirts and caps and armbands. And of course, they have money to pay a group of people to come out and go and bring other people and stuff like that. So, you know, if we don't have that kind of money, you cannot mobilize. And I've been trying to tell my friends this, all of us here, for some time now, that it's impossible for the UIC to do what you see the other parties are doing if we do not have the people funding us. So the people of Jamaica, here at home and abroad, have to fund us. So what the PSOJ oligarchs do, right? They're the ones that are underpaying the security guards. They're the ones who are underpaying the hotel workers. They're the ones who are enslaving the mass of Jamaicans, the same mass of Jamaicans who are going to vote for one party or the other, right? These same people that they're punishing by failing to pay them properly, putting them on contract work where they're not getting employee benefits deliberately. And they have the government pass laws and regulations. For example, it's the government that allows them to have a 60-hour work week for security guards. It's the government that sets the price of wages for security guards. It's the government that allows these companies to get away with not deducting and handing over NHG monies. It's the government that allows them to get away with not contributing to the NIS. So why would the government do this? Because the government is funded by these oligarchs, by the PSOJ. So here my fellow Jamaicans now are sitting at home having problems. They're talking about they don't have enough money, they don't have good health care, they can't send their kids to school properly, but they are going to be out on election day ready and willing to vote for one of these two parties. Now, How do you do that? How do you? And it's only because those persons clearly are not very intelligent. No intelligent person on the planet, no intelligent person on the planet would vote for one or the other of these two parties. No intelligent person. You have to be either unintelligent or you see a way that you are benefiting from this. Now, some people equate benefits to getting a little bit of handout around election time.
Mhm.
Or maybe their mother and father had gotten some special little benefit at some time in the past from one or the other of the politician. Or maybe your daughter or your son or you yourself, the MP sign off on something for you so that you get a job somewhere. So these are the little things that people use, things that should not be happening. Your MP should not be signing off on you to get a little job or whatever. The country should be such that on your own merit, you apply for a job and you get a job. On your own merit, you can earn the money you want, to buy the material you want, to do the things that you want. You should not want to be in a situation where you need to depend on your MP personally to give you a thing or to tell somebody to give you a blind. That's not the kind of country you want. At least you shouldn't want that kind of country. I don't want that kind of country. I love a country like the one I was in when I was in Canada, where I never had to go to any politician to build myself up. I never had to beg any favors from any politician to get a good job or to start my business or to grow my business. I never had to worry about political victimization if I voted for one or the other, or if I put a lawn sign up and say I am supporting this party or that party. I never had to worry about any victimization. That is the country that we must want in Jamaica.
Yeah.
We must want a country where you are free to associate or not associate with anything that you want to associate with that is legal. And there should be no victimization from your workplace or from a government office or in terms of your business progressing. Unfortunately, though, that's what Jamaicans keep voting for year after year after year after year. You're voting for this. Now, for the UIC to be our representative, we have to do what the PSOJ has done. The PSOJ has bought and paid for those two parties. They have bought them. They have paid for them. All of the money that those two parties will be using to buy your votes, they get it from either stealing your taxes or from the PSOJ. Those are the only two sources. They steal your taxes through corruption. So, for example, they will hire their family and friends on boards. Yeah, they'll have many boards, and like they have a lot of boards in Jamaica, a whole heap of boards. And these boards are not producing anything.
Right.
They're literally just yamming our money. Yeah. Every day when they go to a board meeting, they're just yamming our money, and they get some salaries or some board fees, some big board fees bigger than your salary, and they take that money and they import goods and enjoy the good life at your expense. That's what your tax dollars go to. Now, the more of these board appointments, the more of these agencies that they create and staff, is the more they get to give political appointments to their political agents that they have throughout the country. They have them on school boards, they have them on all the agencies. So whether it's this party in power, they put their people into these things, or this party in power. So that's why some people will die for these two parties, because that's the only way they're going to get anything.
Yeah.
They're not like you and me who believe in merit. They don't believe in no merit. They don't believe in earning their way through life. They believe in scamming their way through life, using corruption to get their way through life. So they need that system. So they're going to protect that system with their lives, because they need for that system to continue. Now, that system, though, is costing you and me, because what it means is the taxes that they extract from us, does not go into good roads, street lights, sidewalks, police getting paid properly, teachers getting paid properly, schools being equipped properly, your community being kept clean and orderly, parks for you to enjoy with your family and your children, community centers to provide for the social development of the community, libraries that are properly stacked for you to use. So you're losing out on all of these things. You're losing all of these things. You're not getting any of these things. But then come election day, some kind of screw is going to go loose in your head. And they're going to be able to play a jingle, a little jingle. And they're going to be able to create some excitement, some entertainment. And they're gonna say all kind of things. Oh, when the PNP was in power, this. When the GLP was in power, this. And they'll say, they'll have this tug and war. They'll get you to be fighting. You'll be fighting for your beloved party. And this person for their beloved party. But what you're doing is fighting against yourself. You're destroying yourself. You're destroying your country. You're destroying your children. With each and every year that you participate in that charade, that mockery of democracy, that fake system. But don't forget, all of that money that is going on in that circus, that is appealing to you, that circus, all of that money is money that could have been in your pocket.
Yep.
If you had a fair opportunity, a fair chance to earn a decent living and live a dignified life in a safe, clean, and orderly country. That's what you're giving up. So every time you jump on the PNP or JLP bandwagon, you are jumping on the destruction of your country, yourself, and your children. That's what you're doing. And guess who's laughing all the way to the bank? Two sets of people. The PSOJ oligarchs, who for every dollar that they give to buy your vote, they're going to get $10 back, because they will control the legislations, they will control the economy, they will control the policies. And no matter how nice the policies sound, the policies will work against you. They will work to make it harder for you to earn a living from your taxi. They will work to make it harder for you to get a decent salary. They'll work to make it harder for you to start a business and succeed in this economy. They'll make it harder for you to compete with the Chinese and the Indians and all the other influx of nationalities who come here and get special tax benefits and special arrangements that you don't get. But you will be on the bandwagon to say vote PNP or vote GLP. And after the fanfare is over, after the excitement is gone, after the circus has closed, you go and go home and you go and feel the pain and pinch when you can't buy a full basket of grocery, when you can't scrape together the money to buy the books on your child's school booklets, when you cannot take a decent vacation after 20 years of hard work, when you cannot complete the house you've started 25 years ago or 15 years ago or 10 years ago, when you cannot fix the car when the engine blows out or the transmission is damaged, and when you're coming from that wonderful political party and you're dropping a pothole and there's no Andrew and no Mark to fix it, and you're lucky if you get out of it alive because it might be a major car accident and you don't make it home the next day. That's the Jamaica you're voting for. Now, here's the difficult part. If you want to change that, now you have to say, but hold on a second. If the PSOJ own the two part of them, if the PSOJ fund the two part of them, and if because them fund them, every law, every policy them make is to protect the PSOJ and to undermine the economy, then me need to go make sure me own the UIC. Because the UIC is my party. The UIC is here for me. The UIC is not controlled by the oligarchs. The UIC is not controlled by the colonial masters. The UIC is controlled by the people of Jamaica. And so it's only by the people of Jamaica that the UIC will be able to call a political meeting and you see thousands of people there. It won't be because the PSOJ funded the buying of people to come out. It will be because the people say, I want what the UIC is offering. I want a safe Jamaica for my children. I want a clean Jamaica to enjoy. I want an orderly Jamaica so I can progress. I want a Jamaica where I can live, earn, and retire with dignity in my own country. And so because of that, I am going to donate $250 Jamaican dollars a week. That's all. $250 Jamaican dollars a week. I am going to donate that. And I'm going to tell my family and my friends to do the same thing. And if all of we do this and pool our little resources together and pool our time together and volunteer to tell people about the movement, print flyers, distribute flyers, send things, send videos, send whatever, and broaden the base of people and say, come now, man, a few time now. A long time them GLP and PNP are fool we. 78 years them are fool we. I'm tired right now. Come, my uncle, come my auntie, come my grandmother, come my grandfather, come mommy, come daddy, come son, come daughter, come neighbor, come worker, my co-worker. Come together now. Make us join together. Join hands and join hearts together and put our little troopans together and donate the $250 a week so that come election day, there is a candidate in your division, in your constituency, the one next door and the one next door, the one behind and the one in front. And let us elect UIC candidates to put an end to 78 years. 78 years. 78 years of theft.
That's a long time.
78 years of corruption. 78 years of deception. 78 years of distraction. 78 years of the PSOJ extraction. Thieving our money, thieving our labor, and denying us our land. Let us come together and join the UIC, work for the UIC, elect the UIC, fund the UIC, because that's the only way we're ever going to have a better Jamaica.
Here, here. I can finish the program now. I'm just kidding. So Christopher is asking, what I want to know for my vote on my friends and family. I'm asking one question. Will Mr. Patterson sign a paper? Let me bring it on screen. Will Mr. Patterson sign a paper to say he will step down after 6 years without any improvement? Well, Christopher, I guarantee you, after the country experiences the UIC, they're not going to want Mr. Patterson or anyone, whoever is leading the UIC, to stand down or to step down. We are going to completely change. You're going to come back, for those of you that are abroad, you're going to come back to Jamaica and not recognize the country that you've come back to. You're going to be like, this is Jamaica. It's going to be completely different after years. So that is the question. But really, if it is that Mr. Patterson doesn't perform, that's what voting is for. You vote him out, right? Or her, whoever is in that position. You vote them out.
And I have no problem. I can say this categorically, that the first 5 years of the UIC, under my leadership as government, if the Jamaican people are not completely satisfied, you won't need to vote me out. I will step down myself. The first 5 years will be one of the best period in the history of Jamaica. When you think of the changes we're going to make, the first thing we're going to do is to get rid of the colonial constitution. You know how powerful that is? You're going to wake up, and for the first time when we have our election, after we have the first election, this election that the UIC wins, when we win our first 5-year mandate and you elect us, you're going to vote in a referendum in the second year. The end of the first year, you're voting in a referendum for a completely new constitution, one that is going to make Jamaica a non-partisan constitutional republic, the first real republic in the history of the world. We're going to become the gold standard for good governance internationally. Every country around the world will pause to look at what the UIC has just done in Jamaica. Every country. It will be on CNN, ABC, NBC, Fox News. Every major news outlet in the world will be carrying the story. Look at what Jamaica has done. They have created a non-partisan, keyword, a non-partisan constitutional republic. Constitutional meaning we're not going to have a king or a queen. We're not going to have a monarchy. And most importantly, we're going to be ruled by the rule of law, not by the whims of men. So you're not going to have the whims like you have now, where Andrew come in and do foolishness, Portia come to foolishness, PJ come to foolishness, Siaga come to foolishness, and then we suffer the consequences. We're going to have solid laws. For example, you cannot increase taxes beyond 10% of the individual's income. You cannot increase sales taxes beyond 10% of sales. And you can only have 2 taxes and no more. That will be revolutionary. You cannot borrow to fund deficits. In other words, you cannot borrow to fund corruption. You cannot borrow and force the next generation to pay it off. It must be paid off within the period that you borrow it, the generation in place. And most importantly, you have to get the approval from the electorate to borrow. That has to be put to a part of the national vote, and the generation that going to suffer the consequences, them have to vote for it.
Yes.
And them have to vote to pay it off within that generation and not pass it on to the next generation. You can only borrow for capital development, not for operational costs, because operational costs must be funded 100% by regular taxation. You cannot borrow at interest from private banks or international banks. You must produce enough money within the economy, free of charge to the government. It's right. That's something they didn't teach you in school, you know. They have taught you that it's okay for the government to borrow money at interest and then cause you to have to pay back that compound interest in taxes that absorb a large part of the budget, that denies you good road, denies you good school, denies you good healthcare system, and denies you the use of your own money. So we're going to change all of that. You're talking about a revolution here. Not a bloody revolution, but a ballot box revolution. We're going to transform our country in ways unimaginable. And the bottom line in all of that is that we're going to protect your fundamental rights for the first time in the history of the African race since the beginning of slavery. We're for the first time going to have true freedom, where the Constitution is written to absolutely protect your right to your life, to your liberty, and your property. What does that mean? It means nobody can ever come and lock down your economy again. Nobody can force you or try to force you to take a medication you don't want to take. Nobody can stop you ever again from going to church or to congregate with others or associate. Those will be fundamental rights: life, liberty, and property, freedom of speech, freedom of movement, freedom of association, freedom of choice, fully protected under the law. It's not even something you need to debate. You don't even need to go to court for that. You won't be going to court. I want my constitutional right. No, the Constitution will mean you don't have to go to court for your constitutional right. It must be obeyed. That's what a constitutional republic is. The government will have no room to mess with you as an individual, because in our system, you will be a sovereign person. Your sovereignty will be immortalized in the Constitution, never to be affected or in any way infected by bad governance. That's what the UIC is talking about. So when you back this party, when you support this party, What you're saying is that you're tired of colonialism. You're tired of partisan politics. You're tired of the deception. You're tired of the distraction. And you're tired of everybody coming to this country and just extracting, and leaving us in poverty. You want that prosperity to be real, not fake. Not somebody coming and promising you some fake prosperity, and then all they did was to lie to you about increasing your tax threshold while running the economy through the roof in terms of inflation, which means that means nothing. If they give you $1 million, 1.4 million tax-free, and then tax you with inflation, it means you got nothing free. You just lost. They tricked you. And that's how they've been tricking us year after year, every time with new deal, all kind of new arguments. They tricked you with NHT. NHT was a trick, a big trick, because NHT make you feel nice inside. Yes, government will do something for me. You feel good. But guess what? NHT make sure that 75% of us paid for 25% of us to get a house. And the difference goes to pay for corruption because the politicians are able to rape that money from the kitty. So them trick us. They're always tricking us. And I'm saying to you, the time has come for us to stop allowing them for trickery. It's time for us to put our foot down and put them out of garden house and take charge for ourselves.
Yes, Mr. Patterson, I agree 100%. There's a question here that I want to get in. Well, not a question, but a statement. But I really want to. All right, so I'll do this comment and then we go on with the show. You guys need partnership on board. I know you don't want a relationship with big company. By how we going to win if we don't have? But how we're going to win if we don't have money? Donation not going to solve this going forward. Well,
donation will. We have 2 million Jamaicans on the voters list. Approximately 2 million Jamaicans on the voters list. If 2 million Jamaicans, if a half of a quarter of that number gives $250 a week, we have enough to win the election.
Yep.
If 1,000 Jamaicans abroad, out of the nearly 4 million Jamaicans living abroad, if only 1,000, less than 1.03%, 1,000 gives $25 a month, we have enough to win the election. It's not as much as the other two parties, but it's enough for us to win the election. It's as simple as that. If, on the other hand, we continue to believe that our only hope is for us to drag our backside and go to the big companies and beg them a money, might as well we'll lock up the UIC and go vote GLP or PNP.
Yeah.
If that is what you're saying we need to do, in order for us to win an election, to save our asses, we need to go and beg some money from the big company then. If that's what you're saying we need to do, then might as well we'll lock up shop, cut out this foolishness, go to bed and wake up tomorrow, get your hand out and go vote, and continue to live in poverty and misery for the rest of our lives on this planet. Or we'll fly out and go to America or somewhere else and suffer the racism and suffer whatever comes with that. But if you believe that the answer is crawling to big business and begging them, you make a sad mistake. That's destruction already from day one. Yeah.
And it's just doing the same thing that the others have done. So it's if you want something different, you can't do the same thing, so you have to do something different. And so it's not that donations don't work. It's just that nobody has donated. That model hasn't been applied here.
Absolutely.
They
trained us, Douglas.
Exactly.
They trained us. People understand, And us we're fool, And it's not that we're fool. What it is that they have trained us to be fool. They made sure that they trained our great grandmother and grandfather, our grandmother, our mother and father, and they train we for things that The way politics work is we just wait for election time to get excited and listen to the dub plates and see who have the best ads and get excited because they come around now. The politicians just become available now and then drive around in the community and they come near my food with me and so on. And then we say, am I going to vote or not? Me not vote or me I go vote. And then they go put your finger in the ink and you vote. And that's it. No, that is not it. Them trick we, them lie to we, them deceive we.
Yeah.
All this time, them have them money front at the back. We pay them for come trick we. Okay? So the big business behind the back, okay? Pay them. Pay the 63 of them from the PNP and the 63 of them from the GLP and the rest of their entourage. They fund them. They give them money so that they can come and tell you that they love you. Tell you that they care for you. Tell you that they want to help you. And after them tell you that and you believe them, because you don't know where the money come from to buy the TV ads. You don't know where the money come from to buy the radio ads. You don't know where the money come from to buy the curry goat and to buy the juice and to buy the shirt and to buy the cap and to buy the sound system. You don't know where none of that come from. So you just think that I saw life go. Not realizing that them not love you. Them not care about you. All they care about is to legitimize their control of your government. When you go and vote, you legitimize their corruption. You make them legitimate thieves, legal thieves, okay? And so now they have the legitimate right to pass laws and legislations and create policies for you. Not to help you, but for you. To control you so that you will behave the way them want you to behave so that them can thief your money and force you to pay for it. Watch what them do. On your head, they go and borrow billions of dollars. None of them now for pay back that billions of dollars. Andrew Holness, when him finally leave, if him lose the next election, nothing wrong for him.
Exactly.
Okay? Because Feme House done set. Feme pension done set. Feme asset done set. But guess who will be left to pay the bill after him gone? You and me and Philly Pickney. And them going to pay the bill. They're going to have to pay the bill for all of the scamming and corruption that went on in his administration. For every $100 million that is stolen, and that money have to be paid back with interest, compound interest, is your pickney. And your pickney, and your pickney, who will be paying back those money. All know we still can't pay back money from 1962 with them thief. Money that they got to build schools and build half the school at twice the cost and thief the money. To this day, we are still paying back the money there.
Yeah.
The monies that were stolen in the 1970s when Michael Manley borrowed a whole heap of money and create land lease and give tool and equipment for farmers to go do farming, and all of that was stolen, and some people get rich and some people get land out of it. But we have to pay back the debt with interest compounded from 1970. And when Siaga came in and when you know Ronald Reagan gave him the whole heap of loan them, and them thief them loan there. Today, we still are paying back those loans with interest. That's 1980. And when PJ Patterson come in the 1990s and them run the high interest rate policy and borrow a whole heap of money at high interest rate and destroy the banking sector, killing a whole heap of businesses, some 40,000, and wiping out a whole heap of jobs. We still have pay for that today. That's why your son and your daughters can't find work. That's why many of the industries we used to have are now gone. 1990s, we still have paid them money they know. We still have paid the interest now, compounded $2 trillion. And when Portia Simpson come in and them thief up the money through the whole heap of scandal them, we have paid the interest for that still and the principal. And when Bruce Golden come in And the little time him in there, them thief up some more money, we pay for that still. Plus we pay for it in lives on the Tivoli Gardens.
Mm-hmm.
The whole heap of people that were killed in the 1980s, over 800, in Tivoli, some 200. We pay for it still. There are many children paying now. Them lose them mother, them lose them father, them lose them house. Whole heap of house burned down because of PNP. Whole heap of house burned down because of JLP. Whole heap of business locked down because of PNP. Whole heap of business locked down because of JLP. And we're not begin yet to pay the price for Andrew Holness. If you think you see anything yet, wait till the price start come. For the 2 years when our children were out of school and I get done, sir. Fully done, sir. Okay? Wait till the price tag to come.
Yep.
Wait till you see the price tag of all the money him borrow from China and the money him get for free, but we're going to have to pay for it with concessions. Wait till you see the price tag of Andrew Holness. You don't see nothing yet. If you think the period from Buster in 1962 to Portia in 2016 was anything, wait till you see the price tag for Andrew from 2016 to 2022, 2023, and 2024. You're going to bawl. May I tell you this? Now, many of you are going to still go out because of whatever it is that is going on in your brain, and you're going to go vote for one of the two of them. But I can tell you this. You and me and our children who not dep on the inside, who not get the special benefits, who not get the whole heap of money for thief, you and me and my children and your children and grandchildren will pay a hefty price. The question is, how much longer?
Yeah.
How much more? Don't believe that electing Mark Golding will change anything. And a Mark Golding you elect. If you elect the PNP, you elect the PSOJ. If you elect Andrew or the JLP, you elect the PSOJ. Any vote for either of them is a vote for a continuation of all the sufferation we just talked about.
Yeah.
You are voting to continue the same sufferation. Yes, you might have a nice spot in your heart for Michael Manley, a nice spot in your heart for Hedy Siaga, a nice spot in your heart for PJ Patterson, a nice spot in your heart for Portia Simpson, a nice spot in your heart for Bruce Golding, a nice spot in your heart for Andrew Holness. It no matter. All of them dig out your eye without you knowing it. The leader himself might have been a good guy. The leader himself might have been a bad guy. But regardless, they run a bad system. And that system is going to destroy you and me and our family and our picnic. Soon and very soon, we shall be nothing more than tenants in this country. You go and walk and look for nice buildings, but you can't go in it. You won't be fit for purpose because this country is going to be owned by other people and you and I are going to be squatters. You see how them bulldoze Clifton? You see how them threaten now by December 6th to go bulldoze Lloyd's Vale? That is the plan they have for we. The plan to bulldoze we. Wait till them get that digital currency and can lock off and turn on at will your access to money. Wait till they bring out the next pandemic and decide, say, this time now, we have you by the neck and by the throat, and you're not going to get to it, because this time, we have full control over you. We have broken the UIC. There'll be no more UIC to come and fight for you like we did in September 22nd. We have destroyed them because we proved to you the UIC is hopeless because you didn't fund it. We didn't fund it. We sit down and wait for a tooth fairy. I wait for some messiah. I wait for somebody else to come and fund this movement instead of we funding it ourselves. Me I fund it. Douglas I fund it. Chase I fund it. Mrs. Patterson I fund it. Janet Chukanowski, them people, all of these persons who are giving $10, $25, we're trying our darnest best. And what are you doing? Waiting, hoping, wishing, praying that the UIC win. The UIC will not win without you. It's only by you stepping up, you getting involved, that the UIC is going to win. It cannot win by you praying only. It cannot win by you wishing only. It cannot win by you hoping only. Hope is not a strategy, and faith without works is dead. Your own God tell you that in the good book. If you have faith as small as a mustard seed, but don't lift your hand to get anything done, you're dead for hungry. The time has come for us to get up and stand up and put up. Or, back to you, Mr. Harper.
Yes, preach, Mr. Patterson, preach. As Wade Noble says, preach on. All right, so very quickly, I want to touch on the topic of tonight, where we're looking at the hotel workers. And I want to play for you a video. This is some of the workers of a particular hotel. I think it's El Greco. And so during the pandemic, they were, of course, furloughed. And so 1 month after 1 year of being furloughed, right? So they've been off the job for 1 whole year, right? 1 month after that, more than 60 employees of the El Greco Resort, which actually is owned by the National Insurance Fund. Very interesting. They remained in limbo, struggling to survive without a salary or redundancy option. The staff, whose tenure ranges between 8 and 20 years, has entered the fourth 120 days off the job. So they've been off the job for 120 days times 4, right? Although the law clearly states that after 14 days of 120 days of being laid off, the employer must guarantee the employee the option to request redundancy. So these workers have been off the job for 120 days times 4. And according to the law, right, the law says that after 14 days of the first of 120 days, right? So 120 days goes by, 14 days, right? After those 14 days of that 120 days, the employer must guarantee the employees the option of either of requesting a redundancy, right? This was not the case with the El Greco workers. And so I'm going to play a video for you of them talking about their issue. And then we
eating coconut with banana, that me eat a good thing, so me live a country. Me need to know what is going on.
My concern is that it's not that the hotel is just there closed, but they rent the hotel and it's been using it to do quarantine. So Ministry of Health, they have been funded. Yeah, rent the hotel from the board and using it for quarantine. Now we don't know how long that is gonna last.
And we are not getting anywhere with the union.
And the union,
we are not getting anywhere.
Who is your union rep? What's the name of the organization?
The union representative, right to the board and the company. No headway. No headway. Sometimes they end up not acknowledging letters them.
Because for the government, some of us would have been at Dove Qatar ill already. Trust me.
If it wasn't for the week here.
Trust me, some of us we are behind by rent by how much months, right? And the company is not saying anything. Loan, right? Loan, everything. They keep saying they don't have any money to return taxes.
That's the company right there. No money. They have no money.
And at first we were all denied the care package. At first, when the care package came out, first we were all being denied.
Why?
Right? Basically is that when they give us the 25% of our base pay, right? It happens that they tax 25%, right? So the government is saying that we are still working, which we were not working.
The bills are piling up. Everything is, children have to eat, we have to eat. Some of us, we are home from 23rd of March. Think about from the 23rd of March, 2020 we have been home. And I think that they said by law, 120 days is supposed to grant us redundancy. Right? In the first 120, within the first 120 days, they call us back on 4 days. And after that, we have gotten a letter, right? And next 120 days has passed.
Our next one starts.
Our next one starts again. And it's not like they're calling up with a meeting and explaining to us guys, be patient, or nothing from management. And the general manager is at work every single day.
Every day, 5 days.
Vacation to get our pay. It was a case where some person sending vacation to just get money so they can buy some food, right? It was denied. No money to pay vacation. But however, person at work has been granted vacation, paid vacation. up to 4 weeks, 3 weeks. And we are at home suffering and they don't care.
Have you saw the intervention of the Ministry of Labour?
Yes, but you can't.
Because property is
It's unionized and can't touch it.
I went there personally. I went to Labour Board personally, and when I started talking to the lady, you know, she was giving me a little information, and then she said, she was like, "You guys are unionized," and I said, "Yes," and she said, "Well, I can't go anymore any further with you guys. You have to take it up with your union rep." How is it that the hotel do not have any money and you have all the managers at work daily?
5 days a week.
5 days a week, all the managers are there. It is very unfair to the staff, and we are fed up. We are tired of it. We are not getting anywhere, and we will not let up until we get some answers. So we want some answers from the relevant archer. We want them to intervene.
If it's possible, you go from the
All the other properties have paid up your staff. I have kids, family working in the hospitality industry, and they got their payment. What is wrong with Greco? What is wrong with NIF? What is wrong with them? They should be setting example. And that it's a shame. It's a shame. It's a shame. What must we do? We beg, we borrow. We have bills piling. I lost my mother Monday night. And so I don't know how she got buried. Right?
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yes. And I worked there for 17 years. And all of these persons, most of them are 20 and plus years. We are there and work very well because Greco was doing very well. Until the previous man did very well.
They keep saying that they're paying our insurance money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody is benefit from that. Because there's a lot of persons who are beneficial on their insurance. Right? So for us they pay our insurance. But for beneficiaries we pay. So they're paying that for us. So that's all they're saying, they're paying that.
All right, so I hope you guys were able to see the video because we do have problems with the video now sometimes. But you know, no one said anything in the chat, so I'm assuming you all were able to see the video. But I mean, can you imagine? This is what is happening. So a company or an employer has furloughed its workers because of this pandemic, right? 120 days have gone by, and they haven't been getting anything. The law states that after 14 days, after 120 days, the employer should guarantee the employee the option to request redundancy. That has not been done. Remember, this is a company that is owned by the National Insurance Fund. So how come the government doesn't step in and say, what's happening here? The law says X, you're not doing X. 1 year later, and they still haven't gotten paid. The employees still haven't gotten paid. When the question is asked about you know, their union representative, that's like a waste of time. So literally, I don't know if you're understanding, literally everything is stacked up against you. Everything. As a normal Jamaican, everyday Jamaican, everything is stacked up against you. Your employer is working against you. The very laws, even though the laws are there, they're not being put in place or actualized to provide any benefit for you. The people who are supposed to be representing you as union, they are not benefiting you or not helping you. So you are left on your own. Left on your own. Mr. Patterson, what I don't know. The more I see things happening is the more I just say, what more do you need? What more do Jamaicans need to see? You know, for them to understand that we're going down a real dark, slippery path.
Here's what's happening. in a strange way, the Jamaican people kind of realize that we're kind of doomed. If you talk to people on the road, you'll hear them say things, they give up. They're kind of give up. They're focused on just trying to exist right now. They're trying to make ends meet daily, which is why even though you see the crowds out there now, a crowd of say 5,000 will look like a lot, right? 5,000 in one place looks like a lot. But remember, these two political parties, they're okay with the fact that 2/3 of the electorate may not vote.
Yes, yes.
2/3, right? So they're okay with a democracy where more than 60% of the population does not vote. They're okay with that. In fact, if it becomes even 70%, they're still okay with that. So a person not voting doesn't worry them. All they need to do is to make sure a number comes out and vote that legitimizes them. And so that small number of persons now make it easier for them to buy the votes because they're only buying a few people, right? And it's not everybody that they give money to vote. Some people vote of their own accord, but they're connected by their love of the party, the history, their grandfather or grandmother was this and whatever, or they remember some long-term benefits they may have received. So now these people you just showed a while ago, all of those persons, for the most part, may very well go out and vote. They're going to vote, some of them, because the pain they felt during the COVID period up to now, they may associate that with the JLP, so they'll go and vote PNP. Right, some among them will say, well, I'm not really Andrew fault, it's the employer, so I'm still a vote my JLP because I'm they'll make some kind of rationale, some kind of reasoning, and they'll use it as a basis to still go and vote. But what they don't realize is that at the end of the day, the country that they existed and the way employers behave is a direct derivative of the government and governance under which they exist. If you go to another country where the government and the governance is serious about protecting the rights of the employees, you'll see a different outcome. If you're in a country where the government doesn't care and only show that they care when they see an opportunity or they see a risk to them, then they will pretend as if they care. Like, for example, the current opposition leader, he now runs around to every little thing that is happening to suggest that he cares.
Right.
It's a small price he's paying. For example, I'll give you some numbers. Look at this. The UIC for this year, 2022, our entire income is going to be about 5 million Jamaican dollars. 5 million Jamaican dollars. That is less than the salary alone of Mark Golding or the salary of Andrew. So just their salary alone is bigger than the entire amount that the UIC collects for a year. You follow me? Yeah. So when they run around and do these token things, it's of no consequence to them. When they give some money to say, we're going to help out Ukraine kids, give them some money to come back, that's nothing. When they run to some event and hug some people up after they demolish their houses and they're fully protected and driven in secure vehicles and stuff, that's nothing for them. It doesn't even touch their salary. It doesn't touch their allowance. It doesn't touch their benefits. So they're operating with tremendous advantage. But unfortunately, the Jamaican mind tends to be very simplistic. So they don't look at it that way. They say, well, Mr. Patterson there, how come him now go all over the world, to go to all of the people, to be everywhere? The UIC only collects $5 million for the entire year. That's about 13,000 Jamaican dollars a day. 13,000 Jamaican dollars a day. That's about 88 US dollars a day. My math is right. You understand? 88. Now, what the average person should say to themselves is, how do we expect to have a change in our country if we choose one of two options? either to take ourselves out of the political process and say, I don't care, and hope that you might get a visa to leave the country. But then when you go away, you'll want to come back because your navel string cut yourself. You're going to want to come back so badly. I remember when I left and went to the great Canada, and every day you're yearning to come back to your yard. You want to come back to your country. You want to be back on the rock. Yes, you might be glad for the new opportunity you have gotten, for the opportunity to earn, the better standard of living, but you want to come back home. So even if you run away, you still want to come back home. But what will you come back home to? You're not going to have anything good to come back home to unless you get involved in making that thing happen. So now these employees with that particular hotel, they're suffering because they have not pushed their government to be a serious government that work for the Jamaican people. And the only way for you to get the government to work for you is to make sure that you own the government. And who owns our government? The government of Jamaica is not owned by the people of Jamaica. The government of Jamaica is owned by the PSOJ. So every time there's a dispute, that dispute is going to be settled in the best interest of the PSOJ. Every time. So no matter what they tell you, right now the security guards, they're now hoping for a change. Unfortunately, they didn't listen to me when I tell them how we need to go about this, but they're hoping for a change. Now, what is going to happen? The security industry, they're going to meet up with the politicians and they're going to sit down and they're going to hammer out a deal and say, how can we make the deal sound like it's good, but make sure it's not really that good? It is going to be for our benefit while claiming that we have done something to benefit these poor, underpaid security officers. That's the outcome. Why? Because the government is owned by the PSOJ. It's not owned by you. The only way the government is owned by you is if you do what the UIC is saying, for you to own the political party, for you to own the UIC. That's the only way. There's no other way. There's nothing else you can do. You cannot find the right leader for the PNP. You cannot find the right leader for the JLP. It doesn't matter which leader you find for a bad system.
Yeah.
A gang is a gang is a gang. That's why when lovely young people like Crawford or what's his name, the young man there, Andre Horton. I like that young man so much. When these nice, brilliant young people go and join these gangs and think that they're going to go into these gangs and transform the gangs, all the gang will do is transform you.
Yeah.
That is why I never in my entire life joined either of those two parties. I was very happy that I saw it close up and personal from a young man. From 7 years old, I used to go around with my mother and saw her working hard for the PNP. I was there in the meetings, watching and listening. I was there at the table. They come to my mother's house, and my mother lived in a one-room house. And D.K. Duncan, Carlisle Dunkley, and all these men come in our little one-room house to sit around a little grey table and plan how them going to win election in a Valley. And I listened to all that as a young boy. And as I watched it carefully, it was very clear to me that their interest was not the interest of the Jamaican people. Yes, them fooled my mother. My mother thought she was working for the vision and mission of Michael Manley. She thought she was working for the beautiful things she hear about socialism. She thought they were going to have a good education system. She thought that they were going to have industries where the worker was a part of the company and would benefit significantly. She thought that there was going to be a good housing solution for the Jamaican people. But she was wrong. And she gave her life and her time to a fake promise. And the time has come for us to get rid of all that is false about our system of government. It's time for us to have real solutions. We need a housing program that makes all Jamaicans a property owner by right.
Yeah.
A program that says this land of Jamaica here belongs to you by right. You don't need to buy any land for the purpose of residence, because this land is your land. The government never buy it. The government doesn't own it. The government is there to provide a smooth transition so that we don't have to fight and kill each other for a piece of the land. But for 78 years, they have denied the Jamaican people their right to land and caused them to have to work hard to buy back what is actually theirs and to pay lots of money in principal and compound interest to banks for land that is actually theirs. And they now have the audacity to be threatening and to be demolishing the people off of them land. Now the UIC, because we are your party, because we are the People's Party, we are going to give you back that land as a right, a land that was stolen from your ancestors by virtue of slavery that steals both your labor and stole your land. We are going to return the land to the people. That's number one. Number two, we realize that you have been robbed of your labor, robbed of an opportunity to learn and to grow. And to this very day, Jamaica is suffering from a mental deficit because we were robbed of our labor and therefore robbed of our opportunity to have a good education. So we're going to make sure that every single child receives good nutrition, good education, good health care, and decent housing. That's a mandate from us to make sure every child have that. And we're not calling it free. While we're going to pay for every child whose parents cannot pay for it, we're not calling it free because the focus will be on quality. Free no good. Free education has been a very costly education for us. It has allowed the government working on behalf of our enemies to dumb us down, to make us mentally weak and cost us our prosperity. So we're not going to do that. We're going to have an education program that's high quality but accessible. An education program that is Afrocentric and not Eurocentric. An education program that builds you into a competent human being, not somebody designed to merely be an employee or a worker. Yes. And we're going to take this land that belongs to the people and make sure that all the good land is placed under great maximizing organic agricultural farms that produce for the benefit of every Jamaican. So we're all going to be shareholders in the land, and we're going to couple that with a housing program similar to what they've done in Singapore. If them can make 90% of their people property owner, we can do it too. And we can do better. Because if Lee Kuan Yew could have done that in the 1960s, we must be brighter than that now to do it even better now in the 21st century. So the model that he used, as good as it was for Singapore, we must be able, and we are able, to build an even better model to give more Jamaicans a property that they can call home, a completed property, not a half-finished property, not a piece of wall like what they give to my mother. My mother got one piece of wall from Michael Mann, and she love him to this day because of the one piece of wall she get on a small plot of land, one piece of wall down at Seaview Gardens. Well, we're going to give you more than one piece of wall. We're going to give you a complete home and give it its space and time to pay for it, and give you a credit for the land which is yours. The land are yours enough, so we're going to give you a credit for that because we're building up. You get a credit for a piece of that land. Plus you get shares in the land. So as we produce all kind of organic foods and ship around the world and make Jamaica the organic capital of the world, every dollar we sell out to the rest of the world, you getting a piece out of it as a return for the fact that you are a property owner in this country. No more big man will have the opportunity now to just buy up all our land and get special arrangements and government give them more tax dollars and make them rich. No. It's time for us to make the ordinary people of Jamaica rich by recognizing that they are the owners of this land and must reap the benefits of this land because they have a government which works for them and not for the PSOJ. And don't get me wrong, we're not against business. We are pro-business. We are pro-business so much that we want the small man to own a business too. We want the small man to be able to build in business too. We want to make sure the laws and regulations are no longer designed to suppress the small man and protect the big man. We want to protect the small man without suppressing the big man. You understand? So we are going to build a grassroots economy, a bottom-up economy that puts the Jamaican people first. Not the big Jamaican people, every Jamaican. And because the small man, because the poor man, because so many Jamaicans have been marginalized over the years, we have to have a special place in our heart to help them. We have to have a program that helps those who have been disadvantaged for so many years to get up to par. So you see all our friends down there now in Lloydersville, when the UIC win, here's what we do. We go into that community with architects, civil engineers, and we develop the area to protect the little piece of house that them build, finish that house for them, and give them an intergenerational mortgage so that even though that 76-year-old man that we met, him can't pay off the mortgage, even though I'm strong, you see I'm strong? Good man. Him can't pay off the mortgage, but his children and grandchildren will be able to pay it off because we help him finish the house. So before I'm dead, and the lady is ordered, the 55-year-old lady, before she passed away, let her enjoy a decent home. It's finished. A decent kitchen, decent bathroom inside, decent living room, a nice bedroom, a nice veranda, a little patio on the back. You understand? Decent house, fully finished. And you can say, Lord of mercy, I would have never dreamt of seeing this in my lifetime, but we make it happen. And she don't have to worry because she will not be able to pay that off in her lifetime, but she's going to be protected and secured and insured. And then her children after her now, her grandchildren, her son or daughter, whichever ones take over the property, they pay it off, and will make sure that the cost of that home is below market value. So they're not paying no big everlasting mortgage. It's going to be done at cost because the government must not be in the business of making a profit.
That's right.
We're not trying to make a profit on the heads of our people. We want to get our people into homes. We want them to own a home. When you own a home and you're properly educated, yeah, and you're eating right, now we can unleash the creativity, the ingenuity, the innovation of our people. But if all them life, they must struggle just to get the basic. They spend all these years just fighting and struggling just to get a basic place to live. You saw where that 78-year-old man was living. You see the pit around at the back up, get ready for overflow. Every time it rains, the sewage will come out. His dirt floor him live on. The other piece on the side soon drop over the end, the board rotten out. No. You go down to downtown Kingston, you see the way people living, you see the bottom of the house that drop out, it's rat infested. No, man, we must be able to do better than this. I can't believe we're in the 21st century and Jamaica is still as dilapidated as it is. Yes, there are some places that are nice. There's some nice places. There are some nice new developments. But those are not for the Jamaican people at large. It's for a few. We must build an economy that is for the people at large.
At large, yeah.
An economy that includes all of the people. Anybody who no want good for themselves, only them must step on the margin. But anybody who really want to get ahead, let us give them the opportunity. Let us create a Jamaica that is fit for purpose. Let us create a Jamaica that respects the dignity of our people. Let us create a Jamaica that's not built on fake, false promises, but a Jamaica that's built on a caring, loving, attentive government that is about the people instead of being for the big man, the big bankers like Leachin and the other members of the PSOJ oligarchy that wants everything. They never have enough. They want the next 1,000 acres. They want to control the money supply. They want to control the food supply. They want everything. Let's mash down the system there. Let us divest everything. Let us make sure that the food supply is in the hands of 1 million Jamaicans.
Yeah.
The water supply is in the hands of 1 million Jamaicans. Let us not have a concentrated economy where a few just get everything and hoard everything and own everything, and everybody else must just come beg them a job. No, them days they must cut out. The time has come. The time is now. We need to liberate the Jamaican people and stop allowing those colonial masters and the whitewashed representatives they have here to continue to enslave us day in and day out.
Yeah. Agreed, Mr. Patterson. So on that note, guys, we're 1 hour and 21 minutes. Wrapping up the show tonight. I want to thank all of you, each and every one of you, for coming on and for making this a really interesting live. Thank you, Mr. Patterson, for coming on at the last minute. I know you're tired. So thank you for all the work that you're doing. And a special thanks to those that are donating. I really want to highlight you guys because, I mean, you are the real champions. Through thick and thin, you've been giving, you know, whatever it is, you've been giving and helping us to do what we're doing. I mean, we're really on a shoestring budget. As Mr. Patterson said, we're on track to doing around 5 million.
Yeah, about 5 million for the year. I still, sometimes when I look at the number, I'm shocked. I can't believe it that we survive on $5 million in donations
for the year.
That means, what that tells you, is that other people, rest of us who are involved, we are donating the difference, not in money, but in time and energy and all of that, right? We're donating that. But thanks to all of you, man. $5 million. You're talking about roughly about 600 donations for the year. 600 donations coming in, roughly, give or take, coming in. The average donation online is about between $50 and $60. That's given online, average. Some people give 10, some 5, some, well, not, I don't really see any 5. Normally it's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and so on. But thanks to all of you around the world, we have people giving from Sweden, from Australia, from Cayman, Canada, of course, the UK, the US. Big up US, you're the largest donor. Normally you're about 75% of the donor pool, all of you in the US. Thank you so much. But even, our 8 or so person that sends from the Cayman Island, big up to all of you.
Big up yourself.
And, I'm so impressed. Jamaica, by the way, online, Jamaica is normally 3rd or 4th in giving. So people here in Jamaica giving online. So not the ones who send money directly in the local context of Jamaican banks, but those who go online and give. I am really impressed to see Jamaica being 3rd or 4th. They're normally vying for 3rd place with either Canada or the UK for 3rd position. So congrats. All of you over there way in Japan who are giving.
Yes, Japan.
Really appreciate that. Japan, big up to all of you. Australia, way on the other side of the world. We are here for you. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for contributing. It's a big deal, guys. It's a big deal. It's hard work. It's very, very difficult. I mean, I don't know how we survive. I don't know. It's very hard work, guys. It's very, very difficult what we're doing here. And we can't do this without you. And we can't do it much longer without more donation. I mean, I can't keep it up. I've been doing this now for over 10 years.
Yeah.
In the first few years, I remember the first few years from when we started until about last year before last, it was $6 million that we collected over that entire period.
Wow.
Only 6 million over that. So it's like, I remember when I used to pay every month for the website out of my pocket. Like every month I'd pay from my pocket, and my wife is like, "What are you doing, buddy?" And I pay for everything, myself. And when I should be working on my clients' files, I'm working on the UIC. So that's losing money because you're not doing work that you're going to get paid for, and you're doing work that you're not getting paid for. So it has been really a struggle. And I honestly don't know how much longer I can keep it up. Honestly, it's been quite a task. And I'm hoping more Jamaicans realize the value of this and just step up. This morning I got a call from, what's her name? A lovely lady. I don't want to mispronounce your name, but I think the first name is Beulah. And, she called this morning because she never got a receipt for her donation. I think she donated on November 4th. And when I went and checked, she donated 10,000, and a friend of hers also donated 10,000. She wanted to make sure we got the money, so she called and checked. Miss Beulah, and I don't know if it's your husband, the other gentleman but thanks to both of you for that $20,000 that you sent us on the 4th of November. I can't call all the names, but big up people like Wes and Keith Romans and Sonia and John Price and Elsa, how you pronounce your last name again? Tremblay, Elsa Tremblay, I think it's a French name. Elsa and all of you who have been, just doing an amazing job. Janet Chukanowski, for probably 3 years now, she has donated the what do you call it? The Zoom platform that we were, she has been paying for that for 3 years, I believe, straight. She has paid for that for us. And all the other donors, God know, we could not do this without you. So thank you very much. We really appreciate it. Jamaica appreciates it. I know it's going to be hard for us to win the next election because we don't have enough money to really support our candidates. But I'm hoping we step up. We still have some months to go. Elections will likely be February, January, February. We're going to have elections for local government. So if we can get to 1,000 donors now, 1,000 persons giving $25, that will really give us a chance in the next election. And in Jamaica, if we can get to 250,000 local donors giving just 250 Jamaican dollars a week, just 250 a week, a patty money that, you understand? Just forego a patty and a box juice. How much for a patty now? Like $200, right?
$240.
240 for a patty now?
Yes.
Lord of mercy.
I bought a patty today and I was shocked.
It's 240 for a patty now.
And it's plain patty, not the cheese patty.
Yeah, plain patty.
$240.
My goodness. So, okay. So you have to forego just one patty and a sweetie. Just one patty and a sweetie, so you can give $250 per week so that we can fund this party to represent you. Okay? Think of us like your lawyer. If you have a lawyer and you want your lawyer to represent you, what do? You hire him, you give him some money so he can go and defend you properly. Help us to defend you.
Yeah.
Just designate $250 a week. Put it aside every week. Just out of whatever is going on, just take out $250 out of your purse or out of your wallet and push it somewhere and say, this is for UIC. And then whatever time you find, you send it off, $1,000, whatever it is, and send it off. But put away the $250 right here in Jamaica. If you're overseas, you can top that up. You can make it $10 for the month, or $2.50 US a week. or if you can, push it to the $25 a month, so we get the $1,025 there. But we can do this, people. We can do this.
Yeah.
If we ever do this, this is we're going to liberate this country if we do this. If we decide enough is enough, and we're going to do that $250 a week or that $25 US a month if you're overseas, and we pull this off, you would have been the biggest hero to your child and a great asset to your country. Thank you very much. Remember, one Jamaica,
Jamaica.
stronger together. Take care. All the best.